Previously on A Body in Progress.
With one exciting the route plotted. I'm about to go do 50 push-ups in the Railroad Park in Birmingham. I was once a teacher, and one of my students was named Landon Amburn. He grew up, he joined the Marines, and then he settled in Nashville, Tennessee, where he opened a sports supplement store called Better Naked Nutrition. And he wasn't there. There was a sign on his door saying he was out of town for that day, attending some kind of convention he was bringing his business there. He had a booth there. Of all the days. But there was a phone number on the sign, so I called the phone number. We actually managed to connect, and he said he'd be coming back into town late that night. So while I waited for him, I went to Centennial Park. This is a beautiful park right in the heart of Nashville, and so it was, for me, the obvious choice for doing my 50 push-ups. However, contrary to my personal preferences about doing things that might cause people to think I look stupid, there was no place in this park to do these push-ups without being seen by everybody. So I told myself to just do it. And actually, the couple sitting on the bench here for my first set of 10, when they asked me what I was doing and I explained it, they just thought it was the greatest thing. So maybe someday they'll actually see this episode. Hello to you if you know who you are. Right there in Centennial Park, for reasons I was not able to discern because it was already closed for the day, is a life-size replica of the Parthenon in Greece. And I just knew that I needed to do my last set of push-ups there on those steps. But I waited 45 minutes to do that because just as I was getting my camera set up, just as I was getting my camera set up, a young lady showed up in a dress. I don't know if it was her prom. I don't think it was engagement photos. I'm guessing it was prom or some kind of big school event. She showed up with a photographer, and they spent 45 minutes right there, right in front, right where I wanted to be, posing here, posing with parents, posing with one parent, posing with the other parent, posing with a parent and the parent's relatives, so aunts and uncles, and then posing with a best friend, and posing with two best friends, and then the other best friend, and then three best friends, and then a different pose for the best friends. Eventually they cleared, and I did it. Well, it's not quite a Greek god bod, but it'll have to do. And then that night, I did finally meet up with Landon Ambern, and we had dinner at Five Guys Burgers? I forget the name. My overnight accommodations for the 8th were the backseat of my rental car once again. I found a gas station right there in Nashville where I felt kind of safe and fell asleep. But I do want to include this at the risk of making these videos too long. This was amusing. I introduced you all the way back at the Las Vegas episodes to Brandon Foken, and I've featured his peanut butter in another episode. He found out because of my Instagram posts that I slept in my car on the 8th, and he said, "Oh, that's a shame. I was just at this convention in Tennessee." He and Landon had been at the same fitness convention. Both of them had their product booths. And yeah, so he said he had been renting some cabin or something while he was in Tennessee. It had multiple bedrooms and I could have stayed there. Oh, well, it was part of the adventure. But we both kind of had a chuckle over just how close we were and missed each other. I contemplated seeing if I could find the headquarters of the Daily Wire so I could shake hands with Ben Shapiro and Matt Walsh, but I didn't really have the time, so I headed straight north to Louisville, Kentucky. Oh, Kentucky, how you disappoint me. Thankfully, the rain eased up enough that I was able to find a place to do my push-ups without getting downright soaked. It was Big Rock, a park on the outskirts of Louisville. I think that this is the Big Rock for which Big Rock Park is named, and if it's not, it's still a big rock, so that's fine. The fun part was trying to get up onto it. I'm not young and limber anymore, so it was a bit of a challenge, but even more of a challenge was getting back down because the way I got up, it would have been very much a slip hazard to try to go back down it and find my footing, so I had to find a different way to clamber back down. And yet I still talked myself into doing 2 sets of push-ups on that rock. When I got home from this trip and I had a different reason to look at a United States map, I started kicking myself because I did not realize, in all my pre-planning for the trip, I never noticed that Louisville is right there on the Kentucky-Indiana border. I could have just hopped over the border, done 50 push-ups in Indiana, and kept right on with my trip. Oh well, I carved up at the Old Spaghetti Factory in Louisville, and then I continued driving until I got tired, which was Huntington, Kentucky. I got a hotel because I was just not in the mood to sleep in the back of my car for a second night in a row. I wanted a real bed to break up that pattern. So yeah, got a hotel. They had a pool, so just for fun, I did replicate my Daniel Craig James Bond pool exiting shot. Thankfully, no one else was in the pool, or they would have been scarred for life. This brings us to May 10th. Now, missing out on Indiana was a mistake, but catching Ohio was part of the plan. I noticed when I was pre-planning that the road I was going to take from Louisville to West Virginia came right up to the border of Ohio, and my hotel in Huntington happened to be right there. So that morning, I got up, I went across the river to Ohio, and I think I have everything you need to know recorded live on the scene in Ohio. This is the first time on this trip that it has not been so breezy outside that I can't record good narration. So real quick, I don't have any real written rules for this 50 push-ups goal, except that within the boundaries of each state, I want to do 50 push-ups. I have some unwritten personal preferences, like they should be fairly close together in time. I can't do 10 at the northern border of California and then drive 4 hours and do 10 in Sacramento and then drive 5 hours and do 10 in LA. They should be close enough together that they actually constitute a small workout. But the other one is that I want it to be someplace scenic, interesting, unique, and really kind of, how else should I put it, on purpose. And mostly this applies to Oregon, because I didn't want to just wake up one morning at the start of this goal, do 50 push-ups in my house and go, okay, Oregon is done. But it does kind of mean to me that I should keep those excursions where I simply hop over the border, do 50 push-ups, and keep going to a minimum. I said that because today, that's exactly what I'm doing in Ohio. I noticed that my route from Louisville to Charleston came this close to the Ohio border, and there are several bridges over this massive river. So I thought, okay, I am going to add Ohio to this trip. And so I have hopped over the river, and I'm in a little town called Proctorville. Had a hard time finding a park or some place where I could do it where I wouldn't block traffic or pedestrians. And so, yeah, here we go. These are my 50 push-ups for Ohio. I'm sorry that I don't get to go someplace more notable, but hey, Proctorville gets to represent today. As an added bonus, I did these 50 push-ups on the 50th anniversary of the Fairfield Dragons' rise to the men's Final Four basketball Division III. So congratulations to Proctorville, Ohio for having 2 significant historic events centered around the number 50. That afternoon, I reached Charleston, West Virginia, and that is a city that is just beautiful. As I was driving through it, looking for a park, I really wanted to just get right out on some of the sidewalks so that you could see buildings in the background as I did the push-ups. But, I don't know, just a little bit of big city paranoia. I didn't want someone walking off with my camera while I was doing the push-ups or, blocking the sidewalk. So I did find a park that was removed from town. It's not quite as scenic as I would have liked, but oh well. It was Daniel Boone Park, named after Daniel Boone, and it had a beautiful view of the river, and off in the distance you could see some of the city, so I think I've got some pretty good shots here. But so Daniel Boone Park hosted the 50 push-ups for West Virginia. I tried. I really did. I worked so hard to keep this little mini-series to just 2 episodes. I have been throwing out absolutely everything I can that I felt was just superfluous, and I am still left with so much I want to keep in that we're going to go to a 3rd episode. I had so much fun on the trip, and I saw interesting things, and I want to share them with you, and I know that makes it a much longer topic than maybe some people are interested in, and I guess you have 2 options at this point. You can consider me a self-indulgent narcissist and turn the video off, or watch the 3rd episode when it comes up.